Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spurs Up Show, best Gamecocks podcast on the internet. Today is Wednesday, December the 30th, 2020. On today's show, before we put a pin in 2020, even amidst the madness and the pandemic and all that happened this past year, there were a lot of great Gamecock moments as well. And today I'm diving into just that. I will give you guys my personal top 5 moments for the Gamecocks in 2020. We'll relive some of the best moments that 2020 saw the Gamecocks on the field, off the field, you name it. I'll dive into it, guys. Got a packed show here on a Wednesday. Sit back, relax, enjoy. It's all brought to you by our friends over at Upstate Movers Group. Guys, Upstate Movers Group, superior moving service. They bring care and attention other companies can't offer because they're just too busy maintaining trucks and profiting off of them instead of focusing on service. Guys, service is what separates Upstate Movers Group from the competition. By the way, guys, they're not a trucking company. They are a moving services company, and they're also employee-owned co-op, guys. Their movers are paid twice the industry average, and everyone on the crew is just invested in the success of the project as you are. They have dedicated professional crew members, and they also offer black glove service, guys. They offer end-to-end packing services, custom crating and packaging for special items, and cleaning services as well. They're founded by Greenville natives and University of South Carolina alumni, so a Gamecock-owned small business. They also offer 20 years of project management and moving experience, and they can offer logistics and solutions, guys, that traditional moving companies simply do not have the skills for. Whether you're in the upstate or across the state of South Carolina, if you have any moving needs, be sure to check out my friends over at Upstate Movers Group, guys. You can find them on social media at Upstate Movers Group. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, whatever it may be, you want to find out more information, be sure to check out their website. UpstateMoversGroup.com is where you can find them. Again, Upstate Movers Group at UpstateMoversGroup.com. That is UpstateMoversGroup.com. Guys, the show is also brought to you by our friends over at MyBookie. Guys, with 2021 right around the corner, MyBookie's been in a giving mood. A $250 risk-free bet on Thanksgiving, boosted odds and free bets every hour of Black Friday, and they continue to give away more freebies for Cyber Monday. Guys, for a sports book that's supposed to be in the business of making money, they were giving it away. That's just one of the reasons why I've been rolling with MyBookie this season. Guys, the fact is this. If you're going to put some action on the games, whether you're betting NFL, NCAA, college football, college hoops, whatever your preference, you want to do it with a reputable brand like MyBookie. Guys, you can make your deposit using the promo code Gamecocks. That's promo code Gamecocks, and they'll match you halfway to give you a head start on building your bankroll. Guys, put in $200, get an extra $100 to play with. Joining and depositing is a simple process, and it's quick. But more importantly, when it's time to get paid, that's quick too. Treat yourself some extra cash in pocket this holiday season by investing in your intuition, guys. It's not just winter season, it's winning season. So bet, win, and get paid with MyBookie. Let's get it.
It takes thousands of hours to become an astronaut. Right, Nina?
Oh, I'm not an astronaut. I'm a design consultant at the Container Store.
But you explore space.
I help you find space with our Alpha Closet systems.
And you're an expert.
Pretty good at it.
And you use satellites to communicate.
I'm doing more virtual in-home closet designs, but I wouldn't say...
We salute you, Astronaut Nina, for helping us find space.
You're welcome.
Hurry to the Container Store to save 30% on all Alpha systems. At the Container Store, where space comes from.
Yo, what is up, guys? Happy hump day. I'm Chris Phillips, host of the Spurs Up Show as always. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Got a really fun show today, guys. As I told you guys, I actually talked about this on the Daily Crow yesterday. But starting today, going into tomorrow, and New Year's Day, of course, on Friday. And it's really interesting how that worked out as far as New Year's Day being a Friday this year. But some really fun podcasts upcoming. Obviously, today, like I said in the intro, we're talking top moments for the Gamecocks specifically in 2020. And believe it or not, yes, there are top moments to relive. I know a lot of you are like, oh my God, we had such a terrible year, pandemic, COVID. On the field wasn't really that great in a lot of respects. But yes, there are top moments to relive. Also, tomorrow's show, We will be talking 2020 year in review, more specifically to the business, the Spurs Up show as a whole, things that happened. So really excited to talk about. Then, of course, on Friday, the first show of 2021, I'll talk about my top 5 things I'm looking forward to in 2021. So again, some really, really fun shows. Will we have some defensive coordinator talk upcoming in those shows as well? Who knows? I don't know. I'm not in Shane Beamer's office right now. I don't know what his schedule is going to be, and we're all kind of just sitting there waiting, hoping to hear word on who the next Gamecocks defensive coordinator will be. But like I said, guys, this show, and again, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much for the love support, guys. Thank you so much for sharing the content, consuming the content, everything you do, just showing love, man. I truly, truly do appreciate it. But let's go ahead without further ado. Let's dive right into it. My personal top 5 moments with the Gamecocks in 2020. And guys, I want to say this. I want to hear what your top 5 moments are. So whether you're on YouTube, if you want to leave it in the comments, you're on social media, you want to tweet it at us, DM us, whatever. What are your top 5 moments for South Carolina? It can be on field, off field, whatever, but specifically involving the Gamecocks. What are your top 5 moments for the Gamecocks in 2020? Let's go ahead and dive into my top 5. We're going to go down the list 5 to 1. Let's start with number 5. You know, it's a damn shame that COVID happened and the pandemic hit and took away sports this spring, right? I think we all agree with that. But it's definitely a shame that Dawn Staley and her crew were not able to go out there and compete for the national title. I think most of us would argue was rightfully theirs. But I will say this, their season had a fantastic moment in it in its own right. The Gamecocks came in this season, right? And the Gamecocks, you know, South Carolina and Dawn Staley, they won a national title. They've won a national title. They won it, what was it, 2017? Beat Mississippi State. But, and not many people do this, really only the haters do this, I would say. But a lot of people, or some people, look back on that national title and say, oh, it's not legit. And the reason they say it's not legit is because you didn't take down UConn. You didn't have to beat UConn, right? That's the big thing. Oh, UConn and you know, what REM has built at UConn and all that, the powerhouse they are, whatever. You had to beat Mississippi State. Mississippi State did you a favor, blah, 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 whatever. South Carolina fans had to hear that for a few years. So my 5th best moment in 2020 is the Gamecocks finally getting that husky-sized monkey off of their back when they beat the hell out of UConn at Colonial Life Arena. I think the score was 70-52. Dawn Staley's crew just absolutely laying into UConn. And again, really establishing that they were and are the premier program in women's basketball. And again, it's a damn shame that Dawn Staley and her team were not able to compete for a national title, because again, I think most of us would agree they probably would have won it. I mean, I think it would have definitely been South Carolina, Oregon in the national title, and I think the Gamecocks would have got the W. So again, my 5th best moment, women's basketball, though, to finally, and I remember watching that game, and for South Carolina just to finally get over that UConn hump, if you will, because again, South Carolina had been hearing it for a couple of years. I mean, since 2017 when they won the national title, and unfairly, by the way, because that 2017 team was loaded, won the national title fair and square. But to have heard that for so long and then to finally get over that hurdle and to beat UConn and especially beat them the way they did, what a moment for Dawn Staley, her team. And again, like I said, it's a damn shame that, you know, that crew was not able to go on and compete for a national championship that, again, we all feel like they would have won. So again, my 5th best moment of 2020 for the Gamecocks, women's basketball beating UConn. Let's go to number 4. And it takes us, believe it or not, to the football field. Yes, you ask yourself, Chris, what in the world happened with Gamecock football that was a top moment for you in 2020, obviously? Well, if you remember back far enough, and again, it was the last game South Carolina won in the 2020 season. If you think back far enough, hey, at one point, the season didn't feel like a lost cause. You actually thought South Carolina maybe had turned a corner. Will Muschamp had just tricked us again, I guess. But we thought for a second that the Gamecocks had turned a corner. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm getting at. My 4th best moment for the Gamecocks in 2020 was, yes, that home football upset win over the Auburn Tigers. Man, what a day. What a day that was. Obviously, we had the watch party at Overtime Bar and Grill, so I did not go in the stadium. I'm sure many of you listening were in the stadium that day. Heard it was an electric atmosphere. Obviously, you had J.C. Horn having his Israel McQuamu in Athens type of game, having 2 interceptions. South Carolina just finding a way to get the job done. You beat Auburn for the first time, I think, since like 1937 or 1933 or however long it had been. You beat them for the first time in a long, long time. And you beat them for the first time as a member of the SEC. And I just remember sitting there watching that game and thinking about that. And the video obviously made its rounds on Instagram and stuff like that and social media of us celebrating at Overtime Bar and Grill. And just the way I felt. I mean, I literally went to Baton Rouge the next week to watch South Carolina take on LSU because I truly felt like, hey, maybe that was the turning point. Maybe South Carolina's finally got something here. Maybe they have something figured out. And, of course, we all know how the rest of the 2020 season went, and it was not the case. But that moment on the field for South Carolina football, especially after, I will say this, especially after the turmoil of the offseason, not even knowing if we were going to have a football season, and then getting that type of win, man, that was a special day. I mean, that was a really, really fun day, a really special day, and I know you all would probably agree as well. But, man, that was for me personally, that was an awesome day. I mean, a game that, leading up to that game, too, that week, I got to go on Eric Kimrey's podcast, Fade In Podcast, which obviously now it's Coach Kimrey, tight ends coach of the Gamecocks. Just an awesome week. And then leading into that game and the way South Carolina played and getting the win, just one of those magical days, man. And it definitely, without a doubt, was the highlight of the 2020 football season. Let's go to my third best moment for the Gamecocks in 2020. And I just spoke on the highlight, right? I just spoke on the highlight of the 2020 season. Now, my third best moment for me, and this one comes off the field, and if this one bothers you or upsets you or you don't like it's in my top 5, so be it. But my third best one, I could have ranked it higher, to be honest with you. But my third best moment for the Gamecocks in 2020, the firing of Will Muschamp. No question. Again, it's nothing personal. You weren't happy to see a man, lose his livelihood, lose his job, whatever, even though he got paid $15 million to walk, and we know he's going to land on his feet. That feeling, that when that went down, obviously you lose that game to, Texas A&M and then Ole Miss, and we heard that Sunday things were happening, things were in motion, and I'm sure you guys remember following along with me, going live, hey, this is what I'm hearing, this is what's happening, team meetings, all this. And it finally comes down. Will Muschamp has been fired, has been relieved of his duties as South Carolina's head football coach. The feeling I felt, the way that I felt, feeling hope for the program for the first time in forever, that was probably the happiest I felt throughout the entire season. Just to be totally honest with you. Probably the happiest I felt. Obviously smoking the cigar in the studio, that podcast, that entire sequence of events. South Carolina finally moving on, going in a different direction. And again, it's nothing personal. And the fact that I have to say that is a little ridiculous, but it's nothing personal. But the fact South Carolina was finally able to rid themselves of that regime and that tenure and start to repair and rebuild and move on, that to me was the highlight of the 2020 football season. In a moment that I don't think we all thought would happen because of COVID, because of the buyout, because of the economic ramifications of if you made that move. So again, the firing of Will Muschamp, for me personally, definitely the third best moment. One of the best moments, no doubt, in 2020 for the Gamecocks, but my third best moment for South Carolina in the 2020 calendar year. My second best moment takes us back to the hardwood, believe it or not. And man, this makes me think. It's crazy. Is it crazy to some of you also that you think back and you're like, man, we used to go to games in sold out arenas. We used to not wear masks. We used to hug strangers at sporting events when big time plays happen or our teams won games. Like, it's almost wild and hard to fathom. But that's exactly what happened in this moment. South Carolina, I remember specifically, came in this game. Obviously, I think they were like a 6 or 7 point underdog. And you always think to yourself, when the Gamecocks play Kentucky and Columbia in basketball on the men's side of things, never count out South Carolina. It's always a weird type of game. Like, South Carolina's had a lot of success against UK in Columbia. And this night was no different. I was actually at the game, and that's definitely why it makes my second best moment, because actually being there, feeling the intensity, feeling the emotion, and then Jermaine Couisnard's buzzer beater to beat Kentucky. That is my second best moment for the Gamecocks in 2020. Again, what a moment it was. I mean, a back and forth game. I remember getting down to the wire. South Carolina's missing free throws. You know, we couldn't make a free throw all season long. And you know, you get down that last second. And I think a lot of people forget this. Kentucky hits that game-tying shot, which was a ridiculous shot, by the way. I mean, an incredible shot by the Kentucky guy. And next thing you know, Jermaine Couisnard is just ever so calmly trotting up the floor and, you know, throws up the jumper from half court and hits it. And I obviously got the video of it. And it just, what a moment. I mean, what a moment it was. By far the most exciting moment of the basketball season. And, of course, that's another season that got cut short.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
No, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Who are you texting?
My therapist.
You text with your therapist?
Text, video chat, call. Yep.
That sounds too easy. How did you find her?
I just went to betterhelp.com/save. She's a licensed therapist and it's all online. I connect when it's convenient for me and don't waste time driving anywhere. Plus, it's affordable.
I wonder if I should try it.
It's great to talk to someone in confidence. She's helped me sort out quite a few things. And right now you save 10% off the first month when you go through betterhelp.com/save.
betterhelp.com/save. Got it.
Due to COVID. But, man, what a moment that was. I mean, I literally remember people, you know, high-fiving and hugging and all these people around me, and it was a packed arena, and the deafening sound of when Jermaine Couisnard hit that buzzer beater. What a time. And, again, it's, like, crazy to think about because, you know, this was probably, 2 months or so before everything went down. And, you know, you think back now of a packed arena and, you know, we took it for granted. And I almost hate myself that I took it for granted, you know, just thinking about a packed arena and, you know, rubbing shoulders with people and not having to wear a mask and high-fiving and celebrating and having a good old time. And it's crazy. But again, definitely for me, my second best moment of 2020, without a doubt, that Couisnard buzzer beater against Kentucky. Man, what a moment. What a time. What a play. What a shot. What a great moment for Gamecocks basketball for sure. And my top moment for the Gamecocks in 2020. And again, guys, I want to know your top five, by the way. If you disagree with mine, if I'm leaving some off, I want to know. I want to hear it. You guys let me know. But my top moment in 2020 for the Gamecocks, and maybe I have some recency bias, okay? Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little. Maybe I'm buying into it a little bit. But honestly, for me, the top moment for South Carolina in the 2020 calendar year was the hiring of Shane Beamer. I just, you know, again, that feeling of hope and bringing one of our guys home and the way that sequence of events happened and the unfolding of that and finding out, you know, after the Kentucky game that I think it was immediately after the Kentucky game, basically that night that Shane Beamer had gotten the job and kind of how that all unfolded and, you know, his presser and all that and what he said and the emotions. And it just feels so good because, again, and the reason I think this is my top moment for 2020 is because this is something that isn't just a great moment in 2020. This is going to positively impact Gamecocks football and Gamecocks athletics, we hope, for years to come. I mean, really. So it's a thing that's going to have a long-lasting impact on the future of South Carolina athletics. So, again, the hiring of Shane Beamer for me, guys, again, Beamer was the guy that I wanted. Bringing him home, you know, all the conversations I had with former players and guys that knew Shane Beamer and played under him and all that. And after hearing about that for weeks, to finally get him to Columbia and have Shane Beamer in place and what he's doing with the program right now and just having an optimistic outlook for the future for the first time in forever, it feels like. I mean, really for the first time since I've done the Spurs Up show, to be totally honest with you guys, because, you know, as great, and I say this, just be totally honest, as great as it was for business, the whole Will Muschamp thing and being the quote unquote fire Will Muschamp guy and all that, I'm so happy that going into 2021, I don't have to be the Firewall Muschamp guy anymore. Like, we can be excited and optimistic and hopeful for Gamecock football because we got our guy. We got Shane Beamer to Columbia. So again, recapping my top 5 moments of the Gamecocks in 2020. Number 5, women's basketball beating UConn. Number 4, football upsetting Auburn. Number 3, the firing of Will Muschamp. Number 2, Jermaine Kuznar's buzzer beater against Kentucky. And number 1, the hiring of Gamecocks head coach Shane Beamer. Again, guys, I would love to hear yours, whether you're on YouTube or social media, just in the comments, wherever. Are mine the same as yours? Are yours different? Would you rank them in a different order? Would you put completely different moments in this list? I would love to hear your top 5 moments of the Gamecocks in 2020. Like I said, again, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for all the love, support, everything else. It's been awesome. And we got some really, really exciting stuff coming your way, content-wise, business-wise, merchandise-wise. I'm really pumped. Again, we are going into 2021 with a full head of steam. And again, you guys hear me say this a lot, positive momentum. I'm a big believer in positive momentum, getting positive momentum on your side. And boy, oh boy, do we have a ton of positive momentum going into 2021. And it's all thanks to you guys. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, last show of the year will be tomorrow. Be sure to tune into that. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir,
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.